Welcome to the Great Distraction.
What's up, people? This is The Great Distraction, and today the topic of discussion is television. My name is Ben, and with me today are my co-hosts Thomas.
How's it going?
And Shane.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. The Great Distraction is a podcast that focuses on a vast and random range of topics, and we hope that each episode leaves you with, if nothing else, just a little tiny something to ponder. As always, we would love to hear from you guys. Questions, comments, and topic suggestions are always welcome, and you can contact us on Facebook or via email at greatdistractionpodcast@gmail.com. Television.
The boob tube.
The boob tube.
Idiot box.
Idiot box.
What else is there? Some other one, Shane? Come on, you got to have one under your belt.
You take all the good ones and then you tell me I got to have one. Is that what you're
That's
trying
exactly
to
what
say?
happened there.
Yeah.
So Wikipedia had a nice little definition for television, and that is, let me see, where is it? Right here. Television is
The box the vagina comes in?
Well, I suppose that depends on what you're putting in your Blu-ray player, huh? Or what you're streaming from the internet.
Ooh, what you're putting in your Blu-ray player?
Whoa.
Wow.
It's sticky. It
Oh,
won't
yeah.
work after that. You get one shot with that one, buddy.
One shot?
One shot.
Wow.
Television is a mass medium for advertising, entertainment, and news. Wow.
That's their actual definition?
That's Wiki's. I didn't look up like Merriam-Webster's. Actually, I should have done that. That's my bad.
Can you say it again? Just
Why was it too long? Could you?
Just very direct.
Just go to
and to the point.
dictionary.com real quick and pull up the definition.
Dick.com.
Yeah, there you go. For television and see what it says. You can read us the dictionary definition. But yeah, that was.
I'll get back with you in the intermission.
Television is a mass medium for advertising, entertainment, and news. They left off sports, but I guess that's entertainment. Yeah, so I consider it something separate, but.
Separate than entertainment.
It's a specific kind of entertainment for a much different purpose, I think. I think people who watch sports are watching television for a very different reason than people who are watching Grey's
TV?
Anatomy, Friends.
Well, people who are watching Friends.
I would say
Whoa.
people that go to the movies to watch a comedy are different than people that go to watch horror, but they're just different genres. It's still entertainment.
Yeah, man.
That's a good point.
All right. Well, that's valid.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Scooping what you're pooping. I mean, because, you're right, though, because there is a certain type of people, and a lot of time. Well, okay, so some genres are a lot more user-friendly than others, right? I know I'm getting a lot of topic here, but most people like comedies. I don't really know anybody that doesn't like a comedy. You don't like to laugh? What's the matter
Well,
with you?
we have had that conversation about people don't like music, so there's probably people out there.
They're broken.
I'm not a big fan of comedy, but
At all?
I'm not a big
You don't like
fan
funny?
I don't tend.
Do you just not like funny?
Do you like laughing?
I've enjoyed.
Are you
There's
cold
there's
and
certain
dead
things.
inside?
A little bit, yeah. I'm a horror fan. That's what
shit.
makes us
That's-
who we
yeah.
are.
That was what I was going to say. Is a lot of times horror fans are an extreme on one side, right? And some people stuff like that doesn't bother them. So
Like
they love
action films, you know.
it. Okay.
Here, read this one.
Well, that's kind of another one. I look at action films as kind of like comedy because I'm like, who doesn't like an action film? Like at all?
there's
You don't like
comedy.
any
There's
action-
comedy and horror as well.
This is very true. So, dark comedy, isn't that called
Satire.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so what is this? Merriam-Webster's definition of television.
This is a good one.
Oh my gosh, there's like a bunch of them. Wow. Number one on it, an electronic system of transmitting transient images of fixed or moving objects together with sound over a wire or through space by apparatus that converts light and sound into electrical waves and reconverts them into visible light rays and audible sound. Wow.
Sounds magical.
It
is.
Obviously it must be.
Magic box.
There's
There's the other one, Magic
Box. Oh, yeah.
I inspired that.
The babysitter.
The babysitter. That's no joke. The television has been babysitter to many.
It's raised a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's raised. That's what I was looking
Still
for.
is.
It's raised
Still is.
and raising a lot of kids,
yeah.
right? And then they wonder
I think
why.
Facebook's raising them now.
Oh man, dude. Well, like, is that better or worse than Teletubbies?
I think it's worse.
Than Teletubbies? Did you ever watch Teletubbies?
I did. Again.
Dude, the face in the sun was creepy.
That was pretty creepy.
It was a baby's face.
It was creepy. I'll
creepy,
give you
yeah.
that.
There's nothing not creepy about Teletubbies.
No.
That's true.
No,
Maybe
but
it's-
you know what? Now that I think about it, I've never watched it high.
Mm.
I
Oh
bet
my
Stone
gosh.
Only
would
watched
probably.
it high.
You would not be sane if you watched it high.
It might have lasting effects, like permanently rewiring you.
It probably already has permanently rewired. You just don't.
I've
know
never,
it.
no, I've never really watched. I just remember seeing like scenes of like from the baby thing. I'm like, what the hell is
That baby
going
thing
on?
kind of stuck with you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Well,
Kinda burned into
The other
there.
thing that really pissed me off about that show, because I remember when my cousins were younger, they would watch it. That was what the popular for their generation, right? And there was like nothing educational in that show. Like I grew up in an era where all kids shows were educational, or they weren't on the air. Like that was the whole point of why would we want our kids to watch TV unless they were learning something.
To keep them occupied, so
But-
mom and dad go have
yes,
sex in the
but
bedroom.
Yeah, but it did both things, right? It kept them occupied and taught them something. So I
That's
mean,
true.
you got a little something extra for it. Now they'll stick their kids in front of shit that just shows flashy colors, and they love it.
I grew up on Fat Albert.
Fat Albert.
Oh man. So yeah,
I was a 70s kid. I actually remember when Bill Cosby was on Fat Albert.
me too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I
Absolutely.
didn't even know he was.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
That was like really, that might have been his first like major break in
It's
television.
the first thing I remember him from.
And
Anyways.
he did it for a long time.
Wow. No, I'm 80s. I remember like 321 Contact and Mr. Rogers and
Oh, yeah, I
that
got
kind
him,
of
Mr.
Sesame
Rogers.
Street and a lot of Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, the-
Now that was a great example of something that just shut your kids up, just made them relax, right?
Right.
I mean, what are you really going to learn? You know,
but he's just painting. That's not even really a.
Dude,
Let's
But
just
that's
put a
not
little
a kid
tree
show.
over here.
put-
Let's just
yes.
put a little tree.
pretty little bushes.
We'll make it a little bush.
Dude, it put people to sleep. It still puts people
It's
to sleep.
that calming
it's
voice.
a huge cult following now. As a matter of fact, I think I was just reading they've just released all of the whole series, like 32 seasons, to download or to buy on DVD or something. I can't remember. I heard there was like a resurgence or something. So yeah, funny thing about that is they have never sold a single Bob Ross painting. They have the entire collection. And
Holy crap.
Yeah, and people have offered millions
I'm
for
sure.
one or two of the paintings, let alone the entire collection. So who knows? Nobody has any idea what the whole collection's worth. They won't let go of a single one.
I'm surprised that isn't like in a museum.
They have their own museum thing.
Oh, of
but
course they do, yeah.
It's not like it doesn't show a lot of the stuff off. It's more dedicated to like other things than showing off all his paintings. From the little short documentary I saw, I think you can like I think you can YouTube where are Bob Ross's paintings or something like that, and it's a little. I think it was like a 20-minute documentary, short little documentary that somebody shot about.
Where are Bob Ross's paintings?
They're with like I think it's his daughters. Or something like that. They run a company. They run the Bob Ross company, and they have held on to everything. And they do release things out on loan, or and then put the collection together. There's a lot of business.
Well, I'm sure museums probably do little, they
Exhibit,
loan
exhibits
it to an
for-
exhibit.
Yes, I think
for an
that's the kind of
exhibit.
stuff that they're handling, as well as the administration of the rights and all that, the
Oh,
copyrights, and then releasing for like re-releases of DVD.
They never
Blu-rays.
sold one painting.
As far as that thing had said, no, they kept all
Wow.
of them, despite because he didn't want them to be for profit. And then I guess each painting was done 3 times. So there's actually 3 versions of every one of the paintings. He would do like beforehand to practice and set up what he wanted to do. Then he would do the one that was. Then it was 2 of them I think that were done on air because they would shoot each episode breaking. Anyway, that's way off topic, but it's still television related.
Is he dead?
Yes, he is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah, he died.
Moment of silence for Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, man.
Happy trees.
Happy trees. Happy thoughts for Bob Ross.
for Bob Ross. Bob Ross. Did
Right.
you ever watch Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you told me to try and find that, and I don't remember if I even did. So no, I haven't watched
pretty
it. but
funny.
Yeah.
There's 2 rappers that are involved with it. One of them is like the DJ, the main guy, and then I can't remember. Remember the guy who was like, I can't believe I can't remember the name of the song. It's like, you got what I need.
Oh, it's copyright. Don't sing that.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
He wrote a bunch of the
Bismarcky,
music.
wasn't it?
Bismarcky.
Yeah.
He wrote a bunch of the
man.
music for Yo Gabba Gabba. It's worth watching just for that.
Does he use
he's
you
got
got what
what
I
you
need?
need.
Oh, he does. He's got what I need, dude. It's got
Always.
electrolytes. He's got what's I need, dude. Got what's plants
They
need.
need electrolytes.
Yeah, that's it. And Bob Ross.
All right.
And
See how dumb we are because of TV?
Yeah, look.
This is-
So obviously,
all this conversation is
yeah.
a result of that.
obviously we watch TV. So we're as much
You
as
know a
we're
little
going to
something about TV.
Yeah, as much as we're about to put it down here, we're also going to say we're not only against it, we're also a client. Yeah, well, that's the consumeristic mentality of the world today.
right. Back to reality.
Back to reality. Let's. I've got some interesting numbers here that would just. Oh man, you know,
Lay it down, Ben.
lay it on. I'm
down.
going to lay this stuff heavy on your mind, and then you can
my
feel
God.
bad in mass about
Let
your
me get a
choices in
shovel
life.
so I can scoop this shit up.
I'm going to try and dump truck it on you first. You can start shoveling it off to the side as it lands.
As it piles over me and I can't breathe.
Yeah. So the TV season 2018-2019, there was an estimated. Well, actually, it didn't say estimated, so I'm not sure how they count this stuff, but how they get user ratings is the same. That's how that information came too. 119.9. So let's just make it an even 120. 120 million households have TVs in the U.S. It doesn't tell you how many people are watching, but it doesn't tell you how many TVs per household, but that's 120 million homes with TVs is what they're saying. In 2017, this was the one that killed me. The average U.S. consumer spent 238 minutes, 3 hours and 58 minutes, for those keeping track, a day watching TV.
A day?
That's 4 hours a day watching TV.
So that's 25% of the day.
You got it.
Well, talk about a great
Wait,
distraction.
no. 4 times 6. That's 4 hours. That's 1/6 of the day.
1/6
Yeah.
of the day.
So less than 20%, but still,
That's a lot.
that's 4 hours a day because you're only awake for how many, right? Most people are sleeping.
Right.
Well, I don't know.
Then you throw in the time you spend on your phone
and then work.
work.
Yeah, so basically, you live your life staying in front of a screen.
Yeah.
Between your computer, your
God,
phone.
this is depressing.
No, you're all right. There has been quite a few studies that have proven a positive correlation between age groups, nationalities, and income level, all showing that that watching TV is related to being overweight. There is a relationship to it.
So couch potato is a real thing.
I mean, and you'd think too, it's kind of obvious. If you're less active, you're more likely to be overweight. I mean, some people's metabolisms are amazing no matter what they do.
And it depends on what you eat.
That is also true.
But I'm thinking
So-
that you tend to eat worse food if you're watching TV.
So that's why
Does
they
it
said,
depend on what you watch?
Could,
Is there,
maybe.
is there low calorie programming?
My goodness. Or the type of person that watches certain
I only
things.
watch exercise shows, and I exercise the whole time watching TV.
Oh, I
You
think
pervert.
the people that watch exercise shows are probably fatter than the ones that don't.
And if you're a guy and you only watch women working out in exercise shows, that's for a different reason too.
Right.
Hey, but at least you burn some calories.
Right?
This is sick.
Your right arm's really strong.
Or your left. Hey,
That's true.
don't discount the lefties.
I'm not counting out the
there.
lefties here.
Yeah, come
I'm giving
on,
you guys
man.
credit too.
Or you got to do what's it called when you sit on one hand and make it fall asleep, and it's the sneaky one. What
Oh, the
what the hell's the term? The
stranger?
The stranger. That's what it is.
I thought it was called a blind date.
The stranger, dude. That's what it is. Yes. Look it up if you don't know. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics is a federal government entity, and I think it's bls.gov or something like that if you want to check out their website. They gave some stats from the period of 2013 to 2017. Why that period? I don't know. Why isn't there a newer one available? Well, maybe they do it in every 4-year increments, and that's why. I don't know what the deal is. But that was the latest stats they had up on their website. And they were pretty interesting. But before you can understand what the numbers mean that they're giving you, they had to define what watching TV even meant, right? Because watching TV could be, what are you playing, video games? Are you just staring at a screen that's on? What actually defines the term watching TV? Or phrase, I don't know, what is that? It's 2 words? Anyway.
Right.
So they define it as the main activity is watching TV, videos, or movies. This includes the time spent watching live programming, Blu-rays, DVDs, and streaming shows on their TV sets, computers, or portable devices. And it says it does not include time spent viewing movies in a theater. But that last one there, and portable devices, I mean, okay, that's obviously phone time or iPad, tablet time,
Yeah.
right?
but
I
you have
mean,
to be watching a show.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, so that's what it is. So this is time spent holding your tablet
Because
watching.
it excludes gaming as well, right?
Yeah, it didn't say gaming. No, this
Right.
did not include gaming in any of this.
Well, it could also be because we've moved into a time frame where a lot of people watch programming on their phone.
That's true.
You know, YouTube. I know tons of people watch stuff YouTube on their phone.
YouTube
constantly.
TV, and then I know another one I keep hearing about because of the sports is Sony VUE. It's another VUE. It's another paid monthly app. I don't know what you want to call it. Service. There, a service, and they will stream live TV as well as some sports and whatever to whatever device you have. You can get the app on, which is like anything. So it's just another YouTube TV or Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Hulu does TV. Does it?
Yep.
It does. Okay, so it's another Hulu. It's another whatever.
But in this case, it wouldn't matter what website you go to. If you're watching content, you're falling into this category.
Yeah, if you're watching, where was it? Live programming, Blu-rays, DVDs, so movies or streaming TV shows. That's it. However you consume that, I guess, has been my take, is what they're looking. So anyway, that being the basis, that's how they define watching TV for these numbers, right? The highest viewership is in the ages of 65 plus by far. So 65 and over, they are the biggest watching TV consumers.
That makes sense.
I guess they're bored.
They're bored. They're old.
They got more time.
Yeah, they're not going to work.
So if they're not sleeping, they've got their eyes open, so they're watching TV. So they're just waiting for their next moment of tiredness to fall asleep in their easy
that's true.
chairs.
Just resting my eyes.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I had a friend of mine's grandmother that he used to help her out all the time, and every time we go there, she's watching her programs. That's what she'd say. I'm watching my programs, and it was so funny. We would watch Jeopardy with her, and she was a really smart lady, and she'd really like to enjoy it.
Or she'd seen every episode.
But the thing is,
she knows all the answers,
right, to every question ever on Earth asked.
She's seen all of them. She's seen all the Jeopardies.
Yeah, but she had some a little bit of trouble walking and things like that, and she was in her 80s, and so there wasn't really much else for her to do. So she watched TV all day.
Yeah, being elderly and disabled, that's a totally justifiable thing. I mean, what the hell else are you going to do?
Yeah,
you can watch TV.
Well, I know somebody else who has MS really bad, and she doesn't do anything but watch TV. And so there's a lot of people who are in those situations that's their only form of entertainment. They can't really go out and do anything.
I just want to say that I think our generation is lucky to have gaming because that gives us an alternative. It's still sitting in front of the TV, but it's way more engaging than watching TV is.
Big time. As a matter of fact, too, I know Microsoft released for the Xbox recently this. I believe it was designed by their team. They designed a new controller that was specifically for handicapped disabled people, and giving them various options to still interact and play the games with different, like a touchpad instead of just like, you'd have to look it up. I can't remember what it's called now, but it doesn't look like a normal controller at all. It looks more like you remember those like arcade sticks that you could get that were light controllers you could plug into? That was like, but it was like a pad, like a 12-inch long thing with a joystick and bigger buttons. Well, think of something like that, but a little more futuristic. And it looks like it's about a foot long and maybe 11 inches wide or 10 inches wide, something like that. So it's a pad that they would put on their lap so that they can so that disabled people can play it. Which, I mean, on one side, great, we can make handicapped and disabled people more consumers. On the other side, hey, dude,
it gives them something to do.
Fuck, that's all they've been doing is watching TV because they could never interact or play with the little controller. You think about a controller; it takes a lot of damn coordination to use
dexterity.
a controller. An extreme amount of dexterity, especially if all they're giving you is a little buttons to hit that are, I don't know, a quarter of an inch, half inch. I mean,
you're using more of your brain to play a game than you are when you're watching TV.
Absolutely. Well,
you're more stimulated, for sure.
That for sure. But it was nice that a first-party manufacturer like Microsoft actually put in the time to make such a controller to reach that audience. So,
right.
I mean, they're probably just doing it to sell more video games because they're an evil corporation anyway. But nevertheless,
we don't want to exclude anybody that we can sell stuff to.
That's right. Wait. You're disabled. You got a disability check coming in, don't you?
Right.
You can buy video games, can't you?
Exactly.
Right.
Buy
for
this
$60 a pop.
Yeah, buy this $100. Fuck, dude, that's starting price when
Is
they
it?
come out, dude.
I'm glad I don't.
No, so the
games.
big thing now is the special editions of them, right? So they'll give you the $59.99, right? But then here's the special edition for $99.99, and it comes with a little action figure. Or it's $79.99, and you get some free in-game content that you can only get during release.
Cross over those toys.
Oh yes, and they're like, and a lot of people will actually buy those higher end ones and sell the
because they're
toy
collectibles.
They are yes, and they will sell them on eBay for a lot more money. So if you can make a profit off it, okay, well, I guess that's cool. But it's just sad that people are
takes away from your TV time.
Yeah, this is true. But you're still sitting in front of another monitor.
Okay, sure.
All right. So after 65 plus, the next highest is 55 to 64, and then 54 to 45. Yeah, 45 to 54.
So literally just going down the line from older to younger.
Basically, the older we get, the more TV we watch.
Wow.
That's what you got.
That's
to look
depressing.
forward to.
That's what you. Wow. That's it, Thomas. That's what I was thinking too when I was looking at this. I was like, Shit, that's what I have to look forward to.
Wow.
So get ready, people. You're going to be watching a whole lot more television. But the cool thing is, if you've listened to any of our VR headsets or Herbie mentioned it a million times, you won't be sitting in front of your TV watching anymore. Your TV in Soviet Russia, TV watches you. You'll be wearing the VR headset and you'll be interacting.
I just want to say too, this show is not on TV. So you're technically not watching TV if you're watching this program. If you're listening to this program,
I mean, that's half true because we are on YouTube with no video. It's just a graphic.
Oh man!
Well,
most people.
Yeah, if you're listening to stare at the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone out there knows,
as long as you're not on YouTube, you're all right.
Yeah, if anyone knows anybody who does animation and wants to help us out with an animated logo so
you can be watching TV.
So you can be watching us, yes.
We just want something that hypnotizes you to buy stuff.
I'd have to have stuff to sell you first, but...
well, we got to hypnotize them first. We'll come up
with that later. Just send us money.
One thing at a time.
You can make the hypnosis thing link to a thing in the show notes down at the bottom is a PayPal donate button.
And be like the little hamster with a food and the drink.
Drop them a pellet. That's
terrible.
Pellet. So what if we start hypnotizing ourselves to give ourselves money?
Maybe we already are.
Would you not know? Like maybe it would seem.
Would
like,
I get richer?
Damn, from your
so
own
much.
money.
Yeah, right.
It's like I don't understand why I'm so poor, but the show's doing so great. Let's see. Then one of the other breakdowns that we're still talking about the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Another breakdown that they showed was, of course, by geography, a geographical breakdown. These type of demographics are always fun. I thought this was amazing. They had a nice little map of the U.S., right?
Nice.
The highest concentration of TV watchers was the entire Bible Belt, the whole stretch of it, Oklahoma all the way to the coast.
You know what they're watching? Bible programs.
Thumpers.
Fox News, maybe?
Yeah. The other thing was all the states that had the highest were all on the East Coast, even up north. I was very surprised. Yes.
I would be interested because Fox News...
Well, that's densely populated, that's for sure.
We're not densely populated over here?
Well, yeah, but the East Coast is definitely
more densely
populated.
Okay, maybe that's it.
It thins out coming this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe in the middle, yeah. I don't know. Okay,
because I mean, once you get to California, obviously it's pretty dense.
I guess Nevada's not super high density, right? So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, once you leave like Philadelphia, unless you go to places like Chicago, Houston, Dallas, things like that, and not very densely populated.
Okay, so look, that's interesting that you brought up the population thing. I probably should have thought of that. However, the numbers that were shown, the statistic what I'm talking about, I think I misspoke earlier. I'm sorry. It was not the number of viewers. It was the length of time per day that people watch.
Oh, so like in the Bible Belt, there was longer periods of time?
Yes, that's... I'm sorry, I totally didn't say that right. That's what I meant. That's what it is. And then the East Coast in general, had just the people individually watch TV longer.
Well, I can say from living in some of those areas that half the year it's snowing and ice outside.
Okay, hold on. Really now, because you took it there, the northern part of the country and Alaska have some of the lowest. So being cold outside when you can't go outside is not a positive correlation for watching more TV.
No excuse for being fat, people. Living in Minnesota is not a reason to be fat.
Or at least not to consume a whole bunch of television.
Right.
Let's see. And the highest was the highest in the country, I think. Yeah, the highest in the country was West Virginia. And definitely the highest on the East Coast.
Wow.
The west side of the country, the highest was Nevada and North Dakota. North Dakota is kind of in the middle, I know, but it's more on the west side. But Nevada was the other highest.
North Dakota? Not even close to the west.
No, well, it's in the middle. I mean, if you try to divide the country in half, they're like right on the line, at least in my opinion.
In the middle?
Yeah, they're like on the line that divides it.
So
whatever.
He's
they're in the
given
middle.
us two halves to work with.
Yeah,
so
come on.
You got the east and the west.
It's not a gray area, Thomas.
All right. All right. I've driven across this place a lot of times, and I know about where the middle is.
All right. Well, okay. Somewhere in the middle then. North Dakota was the highest for this middle to west to the left side.
Well, so that was the longest viewing time, the people who spend the most time watching TV, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Okay. We're still talking about the highest.
Well, again, to me, it goes back to the fact that it's colder than hell there. So people just hide indoors for 6-7 months a year.
Well, Alaska has the lowest. The lowest by far, like by a long shot, was Alaska.
They don't even have daylight sometimes.
Yeah.
The lowest
but I think people who go to Alaska are a lot more adventurous than people in like
crazy.
Minnesota.
Yeah, maybe they just... I don't know what they do. Maybe they just stare out the window instead of watching. Maybe there's no service for television, so they can't
well,
watch.
Instead of
see,
watching
there you
TV,
go.
they
There you
look
go.
out the window. Is that what you're saying?
There you go.
So the second
Watch
lowest.
the elk.
The second lowest was Utah.
Oh, and it's cold there too. It's very cold.
Maybe the religious don't like watching.
Oh.
But the
Ooh.
Bible
TV.
Belt, though.
But the Bible
well,
Belt.
Mormons versus Christians.
That's
That's,
true.
that's the difference. I don't know. I don't know much about.
Who would win that war?
We may
The
find out
Christians,
someday.
the Christians would because
Well,
there's still
they're
more of
definitely
them.
they're definitely winning in numbers. Give them all plastic forks, push them into the bowl, watch them see what happens.
But why plastic forks?
Just because that enhances the the viewership, the entertainment value.
There's going to be a lot of plastic to pick up after.
There's
That's
a
my
lot
new
of
show.
plastic.
That's my new show. Christians versus Mormons.
That's awesome.
They enter the ring with a plastic fork.
What was that?
Who will
what
survive?
was that one
Fork.
clay animation show that would make famous people
The
fight
celebrity
against each-
death
celebrity
match?
death match?
That was awesome.
Religious death match, dude.
Claymation.
Yes.
Clay, that was what that's from.
It's claymation.
Wasn't that an MTV thing?
No. Claymation is the type of
Oh, yeah,
animation
yeah.
that is.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, but the
clay-
show
but
was-
it was
was
Celebrity Death
Celebrity
Match. That's what
Death
it was,
Match,
yeah. I think maybe it was MTV. I don't remember. I never really watched it that much, but I just remember hearing of it and seeing like the previews for each episode or whatever.
Right.
A majority of TV is consumed between the hours of 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. any day of the week. Weekends and holidays do not make a difference. I thought that was kind of surprising.
believe
That
that.
is kind of.
I was like, even on your weekends, they watch the
Well,
same
I mean,
amount.
if you're in a routine and you get up at a certain time, you go to work, you go home, you have dinner, you want to just sit down and relax
yeah,
for a
if you're
minute.
going to binge watch Game of Thrones, you're going
Right.
to binge watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but
Right.
if you're a TV watcher, you figure like on the weekends you get up, maybe turn it on, have breakfast, watch cartoons. Like
So-
didn't we watch as kids watch cartoons in the
I
morning,
did.
Sunday
Now,
morning cartoons?
How they would know this, I don't know. But they did claim in another part of the article that watching TV was defined as the primary activity. But how would they know that?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
wouldn't.
you would not know if it was your secondary activity or not, unless they're sitting in everybody's home watching you and clocking you.
Alexa, what's my primary activity?
Right?
Masturbation.
I'm sorry, I can't admit that out loud. Oh man, let's see. So that's about the end of the stats I've got there. But if you did want to find out more on this, if you're curious about these types of things, the coolest source I found. Google the Nielsen, Nielsen, Total Audience Report. And it looks like they do this a couple of times a year. The latest one I found was Q1 2019, which is even off for now. So maybe they do a Q1 and a Q4 every year. I don't know. Anyway, there is one for 2019. And this thing is 29 pages of beautifully laid out in a PDF document stats and articles, and I mean it was really cool. They have all kinds of stats on there. Again, if you like stats like I do, it's that kind of stuff is real. And these publications, we've I don't know how many episodes we've done where I found these fancy publications that these entities put out, and sometimes they're like hundreds of pages, sometimes they're 50, whatever. This one's actually on the shorter side, but all of these entities seem to really somebody's getting paid well for the some graphics designers getting paid well for this, or media entity. They do a wonderful job of displaying all this data, and it makes it actually pleasant to sit there and look through. You're like, damn, that's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, pretty cool.
Yeah, keep telling us about it.
Yeah, and it's free too. So that's
If you want to get Ben a Christmas present, buy him a pie graph.
of what you thought about getting me but didn't. I like it.
Here's all the stuff I thought about getting you that was expensive. This is the part of the pie graph. This is the stuff I could afford. This is the stuff I was like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. Or what
This is what I bought for myself.
It's just I couldn't decide. I just spent. This is what I spent the money on. So let's break this into a few different subcategories we got here. Let's talk about advertising, commercials.
So this is the big part of TV, right?
Well, this
here.
is the dirty side
Well,
of television.
Isn't
It's
it, though?
almost the way people make money at it.
No, it is
No
the way people
way.
make money. I mean,
Yeah,
no,
but that-
it's,
I
it's
mean,
one of the
that's-
ways, right?
Really? No way. Well, I mean, if you talk about the whole television thing, for me, when we've had these conversations with other episodes about the great distractions in general and advertising and the way that our culture has been sold all these different ideas about the, like the Listerine thing. Yeah, I love the Listerine story because
that was last episode, right?
Yeah, I love the Listerine story because it's such a prime example of hundreds of other things that have happened.
Yeah.
And they use this platform to attack people. So we were talking about this before. Shane and I were, when people started out with print media. So we're just talking about media, a way to communicate and relay information or tell people something you want them to know or you want them to think. So you start in print. going back, hundreds of years. And then you come into the more recent future, go into radio. Look how big of a change radio made to culture when it popped up when everybody could buy a radio. Are you
talking about before TV?
Before TV.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So just as a media source. So look at Orson Welles.
Oh yeah.
And look at the War of the Worlds.
Right.
Look at.
I would argue that radio is almost more powerful, and it's because you
leave it to their imagination.
Yeah, well, you create your own imagery to go with what they're saying, and so you're engaged in whatever they're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Actively.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
I
where
feel
you're
like,
watching somebody else's images, you're just kind of passively being there.
Now, what does
That's
that
a
say
good
about
point.
podcasting?
Right?
What do you think they're imagining about us?
They're
right now?
imagining how hot I am.
Oh, are you? Are you?
I
really?
am.
Are
I'm sexy. If you don't know what I look
hot
like,
or
just think
not?
of. If you
that
don't know what I look like, just think of the most gorgeous man you've ever met.
Flavio.
Fabio.
Dreadio.
He can't believe it's not butter.
I speak better. That's
It's
all.
Dreadio.
Dreadio.
No, but that's an interesting statement because, like, if you're trying to engage people to occupy their time or keep them, and we've talked about this before, like different medias are great distractions because they keep people controlled by ways of not letting them have the freedom to do anything else. They've captured your attention. You're not going to go out and rebel because you're too busy watching the next episode of Friends.
Holding them captive.
Or holding them captive by this thing, or watching the next Kardashians or whatever. But I that's an interesting conversation. I never thought about that until you said that about how radio and like when you listen to stuff, even when you listen to music. When I listen to music, sometimes I think of images.
Okay, but since you brought up music, I have done, because this is something I'm into, but I've realized that it's taken me a certain amount of time to be able to be mentally comfortable with doing it. I've tried to introduce other people to it. So I'll sit there.
Shared masturbation.
It's a little uncomfortable.
We're just going to try
I'm
something.
uncomfortable already.
Yeah, we're going to try something a little different, guys. Keep an open mind.
You look that way.
You guys are sick. Sitting in the couch in the living room and playing music. Nothing on the TV, just to listen to the quality of music. You spent money, you build yourself a nice stereo system. It's very beautiful, very enjoyable. It sounds great. But try getting somebody to just sit there and listen to music. So that's it. You're not on your iPad. You're not on your phone. You're not playing a video game. Maybe you're having a drink or two. Maybe you're smoking. Maybe whatever you're doing. Actually, if you're under the influence of something, it's probably a lot easier. But if you're just going to sit there sober purely for the reason of enjoying music, it doesn't work the same as something engaging like a story or news or back in the day before
Good
they had
point.
Yeah, because I've tried it with several people, and it always ends up feeling a little awkward, even if they enjoy the music. Like, wow, this is really cool. Boy, this sounds great, but are we gonna do something else? Like, and it doesn't take long either. You know, it's like, what are you talking about? We're doing it. Shut the fuck up. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Feel the bass.
Man, I remember that from back in the day. I had some buddies that would always try and interestingly
listen?
enough, like Pink Floyd has some songs that has some and so this isn't
Floyd
like
has some
something you would think of.
Yeah.
But yes, I remember these days.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, but I think the television thing, though, if you look at the greater, vision of what's going on in the advertising. First of all, you have the advertising, so you have a whole, consumer world built upon advertising, brainwashing you to think things with visual stimulation, songs, everything else. I mean, you think about all these crazy commercials, and you can lots of people can still sing the songs to some of these advertising things.
Oh,
I mean, they're
the
ingrained.
catchy hook is one of the biggest
catchy
parts.
hook. They're ingrained into your brain, and this is all through television. And for me, that was one of the things that kind of burned me on television. Was I felt like all this is a way to rob you of valuable time to do other things, convince you to buy things you didn't need, sell you things that had no meaning to your life at all.
Well, I mean, think about the whole idea of advertising being involved in this, because first of all, they're making money by getting you to buy things.
Absolutely.
Right? So they're selling advertisement to companies that are trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
But then they also have to sell the shows. So they're advertising themselves to get viewers to sell stuff from people that make stuff. So
they're advertising their
the
own product.
people that are the advertising business, this was their thing, man. I mean, this made that industry so much money.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when you went from radio to television, it's like you opened up an entire another spectrum of way to like get into people's
visual
psyche.
spectrum.
Yeah, so it's easier. That's like when people say the boob tube. That always I love
Sorry,
that,
did you
the
say
idiot
boobs?
box boob tube, and because it just sucks you in. You know, and you just if you're just willing to just sit there, you know, I know tons of people that just do a lot of just sitting there, and I'm like, my God, and it goes back to the obesity rate and low IQ and problems in relationships or social relationships.
Because it is linked to making people less smart, right?
Oh, I didn't look into that at all.
Yeah, that is one of the things that, you know, because
there were so many studies on watching TV. It was like, I just picked a few.
I think it was on the wiki, and that's why, because you said you had gotten the
I didn't even get all the way through the wiki this time because that one was huge.
It was gigantic.
You know, there was a separate wiki on television consumption, just dedicated to television consumption. I was like, oh, this is cool. So once I got lost in that one, I didn't even go back to the television one.
Another rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole bunch in this one. Let me throw another angle in for advertising, because there were a few things that I was reading that were talking about a decline in the effectiveness and use of the type of advertising you guys have been discussing. And this decline is, they're saying, one of, I believe, the other one maybe, is due to two things. One, we already talked about, multitasking. When you're on your phone, when the commercial comes on and you're quote unquote ignoring it, or you get up to go to the bathroom, or you get up to go make another drink, or take care of the baby, or whatever you're doing, they're saying that a lot more people are ignoring, muting, or skipping in some way, form, or shape or another commercials. So the effectiveness of them is declining. To that, my first reaction was, well, yeah, but even if you're not looking directly at it and paying your full attention to it, you're still hearing it. And that stupid little jingle that's going to get stuck in your head, that's exactly what they're after.
Have you noticed how commercials get louder?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
For that very purpose.
So when you walk out of the room, you're still going to hear it. So I believe that there's still an effective form of reaching potential customers and consumers, even if you aren't paying attention to it. So I don't know if
But I think that having commercials in front of you over so much time is making people better able to ignore them as well. So I think that
do you feel that you're just conditioned to it and you just kind of shut it off a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
There's
are you
so
sure
much of
that
it now.
you're ignoring it? Or
Yeah, see, I go the other direction with that. I don't think you're ignoring it. I think
subconscious is
I think
soaking
subconsciously you're soaking it in. It's just like bad music on the radio. You know, it's a terrible band, but this record company's got $4 billion wrapped up in promoting them. So they're just going to push it and push it and push it until you know. Pop music. And Britney Spears. Until you know every lyric, every word. I know lyrics to songs for commercials.
That's because you still listen to the radio. Who listens to the radio?
I don't listen to the radio at all.
So how would you hear those things?
I'm talking about television.
Oh, from back in the okay.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not paying attention to them, I get up to go to the bathroom or whatever, or make a sandwich or whatever the hell I'm doing, pack the bowl. I'm still hearing this thing. You know, it's still being, and like you said, the volume always goes up.
Oh,
It does,
on everything, and so you're getting inundated with it, and it's just over and over and over. And I don't think advertisers. You know, and I've tried to advertise for different things in business over the years, and the one thing they always said to me is like, "Well, you're not going to do one advertisement, are you? That's a waste of time."
Yeah.
You got to do a bunch over and 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 over.
It's like telling a lie until people believe it.
And over and over and over and over and over.
Wait, over and
over?
then
do it over and over again and over and over and over.
This reminds me of a Family Guy scene when he hits his knee.
Yeah.
And he does it over and over and over and over and over.
Now you'll never forget that Thomas knows that word.
Never.
Okay, let me add another one in there. The other reason that they're saying advertising effectiveness and advertising in general of this nature is declining is because more and more people are doing the cord cutting thing, which is Netflix or Hulu with no advertisements, or paying for services that stream just what you want with no advertisements.
Yeah.
Now they're still advertising their other shows, but maybe not in the middle of you watching a show, and you can ignore those advertisements much easier. But those paid services have found other ways to make money by streaming content. Membership, yeah. But at least you're not getting showed advertising. But that's one of the reasons they're saying it's declining, is because more and more people are jumping on board.
And I believe that, but if you look at like some of the major network programming, like let's just say a Super Bowl, commercial advertising on the Super Bowl hasn't gone down.
No.
You know, I mean, that stuff still exists. I mean, beer companies are still spending, $5 million every month.
If you want to call those companies, if you want to say they make beer, okay.
Well, I'm not saying they make beer; they make commercials.
Yeah.
And they make a beverage of some kind.
Yeah. And you look at pharmaceutical companies, look at late night. I don't know if anybody listens to late night TV or the TV's on at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you look at all the infomercials, the drug commercials. The drug commercials, big time. If it's after like 11:30 at night, I feel like from 11:30 to about 6 o'clock in the morning, if you hear an advertisement on TV, it's a drug commercial.
Yeah, we're like only one.
You obviously can't sleep, so clearly you need this drug.
Lunesta.
Lunesta. Side effects may include bleeding of the mouth,
Of the rectum.
eyes, rectum.
But it's okay. You'll sleep.
You'll sleep.
You'll sleep right through it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You just wake up with a bloody mattress.
yeah. Your teeth won't hurt anymore.
Yeah, we're only we're like only one of 2 countries in the whole world that it's legal for pharmaceutical
Right?
companies to advertise to. Every
Yeah.
other country's been smart enough to shut those assholes down. Nope,
Yeah.
not us. We get paid off.
Yeah,
we're to be bought.
They've lobbied their way into it. It's just like the insurance companies in America. You can hardly sue an insurance
Don't
company
even get me
anymore
started about damn insurance, man. They just keep raising up. Well, our fees are going up. What?
for your non-existent.
You've been making
business.
thousands % profit for how long? Your fees are going up.
and then they're still taking your money and investing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so,
let's go to a different topic.
Television,
Yes, let's talk about the news.
the news, like Huey Lewis in the news.
I hate the news.
Do you hate Huey Lewis? Though?
I don't know who
You don't know who Huey Lewis
What?
is?
What's Huey Lewis?
Oh my goodness.
I want a new drug. One that won't make me sick.
No.
You'll never heard
Can't
that?
sing that. It's copyright.
Oh my
What are you trying to
God.
do to us? Come on,
Stop
man.
it.
You need to get shut down.
Goodness, sued.
Sued. They can take all 80 cents we got.
I know.
Gonna take
If
all
you're,
of
if you're
our
thinking about
stickers.
suing us, you show up now before the glass of beer is empty because that's all you're getting.
Take all the great distraction stickers that we have.
I know, right?
Oh man.
Scumbags.
You know how long? You know how many sales I had to wait for to get those stickers made? They're always after me stickers. Yeah, the news. Okay, so I've been a long time, probably the last 15 years, maybe more, long time advocate of hating news.
Like network news.
Any news, actually news of any kind. I like tech news because I'm a tech geek.
You like it when I tell you news, don't you?
What are you going to tell me? Depends on what you're telling me about.
Huey Lewis in the news.
But I have some news, I'll tell you. You hate that too?
Oh yes, they'll. Well, there's always somebody who will tell you something, right? If you sit there and listen. But nevertheless, I have tried in the course parts of my life to like follow CNN or my local news channels, be it on the internet or just in live TV.
Where'd that get you?
Depression.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
Depression. Just sad.
But that's-
disappointed, and
So-
and ultimately we go through it. And you get done with it, and now you. I guess the thing is that now you know more or something. You're
You know
somehow
more of what
informed.
somebody wanted you to know.
That's right. You're more informed, but in the end, you can do absolutely nothing about it. Nothing.
But that goes back to the power of television and controlling the masses. News is the biggest way to control the masses. You scare them. You tell them what you want them to believe. You let them think what. What's crazy is like when you go to other countries, like when I was in Holland, and I wanted to watch TV just to see what kind of differences it was. A lot of countries and a lot of places, when you watch the news, they talk about the world.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
really do that here.
And then
Unless it's talk bad about another
they
country.
spend like 5 minutes talking about local stuff. So they tell you about what's really going on in the world. In America, when you listen to the news, if you live in Dayton, Ohio, all you get to hear about is Dayton, Ohio. And let me tell you something, there ain't shit going on in Dayton, Ohio.
Those poor
So they got to fill it full of crap, which
Well,
is
which-
what all the news medias do. They fill it full of crap. Every time I accidentally have to watch the news, it's some dumbass story about some dumbass thing that happened to some dude that was crossing the street or something in some weird part of town that nobody cares about.
What
They're
about
just-
world news,
It's
though?
just they don't show any.
Yeah,
In America, they have around the world in 60 seconds.
Wow, all that news. And you know what else I always find interesting is there's nothing from South America. Like
That's a good point.
Ever talk about anything? I thought South America was gone.
Right?
I
It
thought
just left.
Yeah,
It just left.
It just like fell into
Got
the
in a
ocean.
spaceship and
It's
took
like,
off.
Yeah, it's like a continent like as large as we are, and we don't hear anything about it.
That's what I'm saying.
All we ever hear is Europe and
Yeah.
Germany and Russia.
Yeah.
And it's like that's it. Like wow, I guess those are the only countries in the whole world.
But I feel like the news really, from the beginning of time, as far as American culture has just been filling you full of bullshit that they want you to think. They're
distract
training you to think
distract you.
It's a distraction.
Absolutely.
They want you to believe this about that.
And on top of that, I've noticed that it individualizes things for people. It gives you enough information to form an opinion. Doesn't give you all the information, but it gives you enough to form an opinion so that you feel like you came to that opinion yourself. You're like, I came up with this information.
That's right.
I've heard the facts, and I've come up with an opinion, and now I have a stand on this. And really, you don't know shit about it. You're
But
just,
that's part of
"Ugh."
the brainwashing.
That is part of that. That's exactly
that.
So
Yeah.
they're going to lead you to the opinion. You only have one or two options, and more than likely you're going to pick red or blue, right?
Right.
It's always going to
Red
come
pill
down
or
to
the blue pill.
politics. Well, it's always going to come down to some form of politics, right?
Right.
I mean, they just keep feeding this black and white A/B option.
And they just cram it down your throat, just like pop music, over and over and over. so that's all you know. That's all you talk about. If you can get people to just talk about nothing else and not like question anything, not stand up for anything, not say, wait a minute, this is bullshit. If you can just talk about the stupid, petty things that happen on the news, then you've won. You're controlling an entire culture. And people just sit there in their easy chair. They armchair quarterback everything that goes on.
Yeah.
They don't solve anything.
No.
They don't get off their chair.
No.
Why would you get off your chair to do something? Seinfeld's coming on.
Yeah. Right after this news.
Right after this
Right
newscast.
after I get mad at those darn Republicans or those damn liberals. You know,
Right.
oh, man.
It just gives you enough information to give you rage about
Yes.
something. It
Right.
seems.
Yes.
And
I was watching. I think it was Thanksgiving, and my grandparents were watching. I was over at their house for Thanksgiving dinner, and they were watching Fox News. And I remember distinctly hearing the person, the anchor or whatever, say, "I know what you're thinking," and my immediate thought is like, "How in the hell do you know what I'm
About to
thinking?"
lead
Of course
you
you
into
don't.
what- yeah, about to lead you into what you're about
What
to
I was
think.
thinking was a question, obviously, and they were going to answer that question for me.
yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
like,
See?
And if you
what
weren't
the
thinking
hell?
it-
So you're going to tell
That's
me
why
what,
you need to
that
watch them
what
every
my
day.
question is, and then you're going to answer it for me.
Absolutely. Don't worry. We'll do the thinking for you. Just watch.
Yeah, just shut up, sit in the chair, and we'll tell you what to think.
You mentioned that you're Shane. Your comment about the just to feel the rage. Did you ever have you ever read 1987 George Orwell?
No, I have not read that.
You'd have to the whole Orwellian future thing or what. That's one of the things
I've heard a lot about
Yeah,
it.
I mean, there've been so many movies made off of it. Everybody,
Right.
every either right wing or super left wing, they'll bring it up. You know, this is Orwellian future. Okay, yeah. Anyway, one of the funny things that they do in that possible future is they have it's like what's 15 minutes of hate or something like that, and it's something on the TV that you watch, and that's the idea. That's the whole point, is to get you raged up at what they horribly angry. Everybody stares at it, everybody gets angry, they throw things, they just all get themselves all worked up. That's your 15 minutes of hate for the day. And all it is propaganda that they throw out and aim that hate at whatever they want you to aim it at.
Right.
That's what they do in it to kind of keep you, give you a chance to rage, give you a chance to in a
Both
direction
sides
to put
have
it
their own victim to point
That's
at.
right.
and
That's right.
it's
But they don't
usually
tell you the other
somewhere-
side.
Somebody on the other side. It's just they point at each other and they battle each
Yep.
other, and you should be pissed off at them because of this.
That's right.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, when it comes to television in America, and we have to break it down to like networks and stations that do things. We've only had about 6 entities giving us this information since the beginning of television.
Yeah, there's something like 3 guys that own all of it. Three major CEOs.
We just
that
have
own
more
all of it.
affiliates.
Yeah.
An affiliate is just more cities that have their own micro branch with their own local news guys or sports guy or whatever the hell it is. So it's just and always remember this: anything that has been published, written, or broadcast is a production.
Yes.
You have to produce it. You have to write it, script it, give it a dialogue, give it everything that you want it to do, so you can make the production pretty, so you can sell it to the people.
That, and in case nobody told you, there's no such thing as reality TV.
Right.
It is all scripted.
It's all scripted, but the sad thing is too, like, and Shane and I have both worked in film and television and stuff, and there is a side to especially television and film that is really cool. It's the aspect of being artistic and people wanting to tell a story or writing a story and wanting to show visuals and do things. And I think that's what captivates a lot of people, is the imagination, like a Star Wars or something, or Star Trek, Star Wars.
Is that why Jersey Shore was so popular?
I probably, but I mean, there's a lot of things out there that capture people's imagination
Absolutely.
that are fun and entertaining. And I like to hate on TV because it is stupid, but the creative ability to make a movie or a documentary or something, I mean, these are cool things. It's just we have to keep in perspective, like everything. Question what the source is, question what you're watching, pay attention to it, and don't just
Remember
take
that it's
everything
for
at face value.
entertainment value.
It's for entertainment value.
Well, I mean, even if it's real stuff, it's still from somebody's perspective. So to some degree, it's an opinion.
Yeah.
It's their
And
opinion
so-
of these maybe true things that happen.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it through their perspective.
Yeah, and I will go to my grave saying that everything that everyone ever says on the earth is an opinion. Because if somebody tells you something, whether it's factual or not, and you relay it to somebody else, it goes through your system, through your brain, through your psyche, and you recite it in an opinionated way, whether you think you are
biased.
or not.
A biased way.
A biased way.
What is that saying? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
And they all stink.
Yeah.
And they all could use a nice wipe.
Let's move into TV shows.
They could use a nice wipe.
A fairly new concept along the lines of
Wiping?
continue wiping.
Don't do it.
Is it new for you or new for me? I don't know. I guess if you come from
You
another
like
country,
racing stripes? I guess it's what about you.
Oh, instead we don't have bidets here, so I guess,
Bidet. It's a good day
bidet.
in the bidet.
You don't have a bidet?
bidet. My bad.
You didn't have a bidet?
Oh man,
I thought you liked bidet.
late night bidet call. No, anyway.
It feels good just for me.
Makes me think of Austin Powers Preparation H. Feels good in and around the hole.
In and around.
On the whole. Yeah. Netflix made popular binge watching TV shows.
Netflix and chill.
This was, Netflix and chill. That's a dating app thing, but nevertheless, before you would have to own the Blu-ray collection or the DVD collection, and those existed. I mean, they were always there, but they were not nearly as popular to buy a whole collection of a show like that. They didn't make a lot of them. Those got big when Netflix and maybe there was another service. Actually, it's probably all Netflix in the beginning. Started giving you the ability to watch an entire show, 200 and something episodes, as quickly as you could sit there and suck it down, right? Well, it's advertising free. However, it totally is a new way and reason and motivation to sit in front of the television longer. Right. And when you start getting into binge watching shows, I can see I've done it myself. I can see that 3 or 4 or 5 hour a day hitting that until you get through the show. When I finally found Breaking Bad,
oh my God,
it was an illness.
Dude, I rewatched it.
Oh, dude, I have not rewatched it since the first time I watched it. I didn't watch it until it was all done. I don't usually watch shows until they're all done. But yeah, I was doing 3 to 5 episodes a day on that. I mean, it was brutal. Mm-hmm. I could not stop.
I think I just finished watching the last episode of Shameless. Which is a series on Netflix. Same thing, binge watch it.
Yep.
You wait till the season's done, and it's got 13 episodes or an hour long, and there's 13 hours. And
Netflix doesn't drop them till they're done, right? So
So it's like the race
it's
of
all
like
contract based. They can, so they can. It depends if it's especially if it's a Netflix original. These days, Netflix has its own shows that are kicking ass, right? And those they usually release, which by the way, Big Mouth I think comes out next month.
Oh, nice!
Like, yes, another Big Mouth
binge
season.
watching.
I love
Dude, you know it should be coming out soon again. Another episode. Another
F is for Family.
F is for Family.
I think it's going to be another year. Like
really?
I think they pushed it
because
out.
they signed like a 3-year deal.
Yes, but I think they're pushing it out longer.
Oh, wow.
I think that's what I was reading. I can't.
Well, he just released a special.
Oh, he did.
He's got a new comedy special. Just came out.
Oh, maybe that's why they pushed it out.
It's in London, live in London.
I don't know, but nothing's more important than Rick and Morty in November.
Right.
Yeah, bitches.
Good point.
Anyways, so that whole binge watching concept really did play a very big role in getting us to stare at the boob tube longer. I mean, it just all of a sudden we could watch an entire. And I mean, what a concept, dude! When that started, I had never seen a show from first episode to the end before ever. Like, how would you do that? You'd have to be every night when it comes on the television, and if they played the reruns in order, there was no way for you to do that. It wasn't even as advertised back then to watch a show in order. Right. Most shows were take as the episode. You didn't watch it in an order. And it blew my mind. The first show I watched, I don't even remember what it was now, but that I got the whole collection and I got to watch them in order, how many things carry and how much more enhanced and better the story becomes, even if there was no real connective story.
Right. I want to just say that's why I could never get into Lost, is because you would be completely lost if you didn't watch them each in order. And so that was never my thing, because I grew up watching them like you were saying. Sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. And if it's not a complete story in itself,
and don't worry,
what the hell is happening?
And don't worry about Lost, because everybody will tell you it's the worst ending in the world. So you can go ahead and skip that whole show.
I have.
Everyone has told me.
Yeah, but just like I was saying, I rewatched Breaking Bad like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was sick for like 6 days or something.
Yep.
And I was like, what am I going to do? I can binge watch. I rewatched Breaking Bad.
Yep.
So how many hours did I spend? How many episodes of that? I'm sure there's at least 100.
I think it's 87, but I can't remember.
Okay, so 87. So I spent
and
80,
they're long, too.
So I spent 87 hours minimum watching one show.
See, that's the other thing that gets me too. Is there's so many. See, now we're going to get into the consumeristic nature of this. There's so many other shows to watch. I haven't been able to go back and rewatch one. I take that back.
That's true.
I rewatched Star Trek Next Generation, and that's like 260 something
my
shows.
It's a good show.
Holy crap, that's my
It's
favorite Star
great
Trek, and I've watched all of them except for TOS. I can't believe I haven't watched the original series yet.
Wow.
And then the latest one I have not started watching. watching because it's not done. I'm waiting. But anyway, yeah, that's the only one I've ever gone back and rewatched. Everything else, there's always something else to.
I've watched a couple.
Really?
A couple different things. Yeah.
I've probably watched Family Guy 3 times over because you just play them in the background and like, oh, there they go.
The fastest I've ever watched a show is Daredevil. When it first came out onto Netflix,
Daredevil.
Me and a buddy of mine, we were filmmakers, and we live streamed our opinions on Daredevil.
Oh,
we
cool.
watched the entire thing in 24 hours.
Holy crap!
We
Is it that
stayed up all
short?
night and watched it.
So is it that short? Because obviously you can only fit a certain amount of time. How many episodes is it?
I can't even remember.
It can't be that many because if it were 80 episodes, how would you do that in 24-hour period?
No, it was the first. It was just one season.
Oh,
it was when
I
they
see.
when they dropped the first season.
I was thinking the
Daredevil.
whole show thing. I was
no,
like,
no.
yeah. I've definitely rewatched seasons of a show.
Oh, yeah.
With people. Yeah, if we're going to stay up all night and sit there and let's just start it from start to finish and make a night of it, right? Like
You
movie.
you have to because
It's fun to do that.
hour-long shows. You got 12
we've
episodes
done that.
or 18 episodes. It's pretty much.
We've done that with video games too, where with a few of my buddies will come over. We'll pick a drink for the night and a food for the night. Like I remember when Resident Evil 6 came out or 5, maybe it was 4. I can't remember which one it was. I know a group of my buddies got together and it was White Russians and Resident Evil all freaking night.
Wow.
We would just take turns.
You
The
would-
game, yeah. So we would all just play the game.
That sounds awesome.
And try and beat the whole game in one night if we could, or whatever.
Yeah.
By the time we were probably all fucked up and never made it anyway. But nevertheless, it was awesome, right?
That
You got
sounds
music, you're
hella
talking
fun,
shit,
yeah.
you're playing video games, and you just go to whoever's house has the biggest TV and best sound system.
Wow.
Turn off all the lights, play a creepy game. Everybody's having a blast. Yeah. So
Wow.
that kind of stuff is cool to do. But I've never done that with a TV show. I've never done that with like you were saying,
series,
the whole series, because the series are too long. One time I did all the Lord of the Rings extended editions in a day, and that's like 9 hours.
Wow.
Dude. Like my ass was hurting after that. I was like,
Yeah.
at least with the video game, you're getting up, you're moving, you're playing. If you're laughing at
Right.
your buddy, you're passing a controller, you're moving a little more, right?
Yeah, well, with that game, it's single player, right? So
Yes,
you're
so that's why we would
just
hand the
trading
controller
off.
over,
Yeah.
because it's highly story based, and I found that. I know we're getting off topic with the games, but I found that the only games people can sit there and watch for hours like that are games that are highly story driven, because we're all following the story like a movie, right? And then laughing at your dude, you fucked that up so bad, like give me that controller, like let me get past this part, right? If you have games that are like, I don't know, like Smash Brothers, or like where all 4 of you can play, that gets old quicker because it's not like a story based. Like there's only so many times you can play the levels, and they're like, oh man, obviously this person's dominating, or I'm not really good at this game, or whatever. And then you start losing people. They don't last as long.
Yeah.
But the
Especially when you're
stories,
drinking.
yeah, exactly.
But Resident Evil is always
Freaking
a fucking
since
great,
the very first
great
one,
game.
man. Since the very first one.
Wow.
So we made actually a fan film based on Resident Evil.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Damn. Yeah, I fucking love them. That and Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasies are a little.
This should be another show though, because these
yes.
things do touch on each other, but gaming
And
What are you talking about touching on each other?
There you go again.
You know
That
you
circle
want
jerk.
to.
The hell is going on?
Jesus.
The only reason we haven't done a gaming episode is because we have to get together a group of people that are gaming. And Thomas doesn't play any
I'm not a
games,
gamer.
so Thomas is one of our main hosts. It's hard to bring him into the conversation.
does, right?
Oh yeah, Glenn's a gamer, and
I used to play Russian Attack.
What's that?
It was an arcade game when I was younger.
Yeah, okay, well arcades are cool too.
I played the
but,
crap out of that.
but there's no depth to most arcade games. That's the problem.
Yeah, it was
Because
kinda
you,
like- it
you
was
have to
kinda
go
like-
home.
Well, you have to keep pumping quarters in for some reason.
Yeah, and you have to go home eventually.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
not home.
You got to
that's
get out of
why-
that 7-Eleven at some
Yeah.
point.
It's like, sir, you're gonna have to leave. You
Yeah.
have to go. I've got
Yeah, we
another
should-
$10.
They won't kick you out if you got more money.
That's true.
So yeah, we got so okay. I didn't know you had got into gaming at all. So okay, maybe we'll
I
put that
love
together with
Resident
Glenn, and maybe we'll bring Devin on. We haven't brought him on
Oh my
before,
God.
but he's
He's a
hardcore
gamer for
gamer.
sure.
Oh yeah, he's a hardcore gamer. Anyway, we're getting off topic there.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about and I don't know how much you guys can add to this, but I don't because I don't watch these at all. But sports. That is another huge draw into making you sit in front of the TV and stare at the screen even longer.
Well, the thing with sports is it's another one of those great distractions where you get this false impression that you're a part of something.
Yes.
So camaraderie. So I know so
Division
many
of the masses.
I know so many people who think, "Oh, we lost today.
We.
We won.
Wow.
Where's the we in team, bro? I didn't see you out there.
Right.
You weren't even a water boy. Come on.
How much did you pay for that what is it, pay-per-view or the ESPN
right.
access to that? No,
Yeah.
they won, you lost.
They won. Yeah. But people feel like they're a part of something,
Yes.
and they get all riled up and everything else.
Yeah,
they get
and
all
that
into
blew
it.
me away. So I have never ever been into sports, and I had no idea how the pricing structures worked to watch these games at people's houses. When I had heard people throw sports parties, Super Bowl parties, sports parties, fight parties, whatever, and they all go to somebody's house and they watch it on whoever, I just thought it was like, cool, you guys going to get together and you're going to drink and you're going to eat food and whoever's got the biggest screen TV, just like our video game thing, right? No. They're paying like $70 to $150 to watch a couple hours of sport or fight. I had no idea that's how that worked.
I can't
was
believe
like,
how much the fight stuff.
So they
is.
pitch in together. That's how accepting these
Yep.
people have become of this. They pitch in to pay $150 to watch two people fight on TV in somebody's living room. I
think it's ridiculous.
Wow.
I think that's how much control they have over their audiences. If
Yeah,
they can,
because in
if they
the
can start-
beginning, beginning it wasn't even $70 for two people to go see it in person. Now
Right.
it's $150 to watch it in your living room.
Right.
And-
So I remember when Tyson was fighting, we used to watch those fights, and sometimes
remember
they were
that.
like a minute.
Yeah.
Minute, he
Yeah.
walks out and knocks
Halfway through the first round.
all of those people just like sat there for a couple minutes and just that's
see the
it. Okay,
one-hitter
you can go
quitter, huh?
home now. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks
you
for your money,
imagine?
suckers.
Yeah. It's like,
mean-
oh shit, now we can't sell them beer too.
So now getting further into the technology age, and we were talking earlier about these streaming services, continuing along the line of sports, the stuff that I did not know that just blew me away. Apparently, and again, I don't have the full details on this, but I mean, I'm sure listeners out there, if you guys know about how this works, or maybe you guys have heard about this, if you're in a certain geographical area, let's say we're near San Francisco, right? So you want to buy a sports package to add to your streaming service. We're not talking about satellite. We're not talking about cable. We're talking about you want to buy PlayStation Vue or Hulu TV or YouTube TV or whatever you're trying to pay for. But those don't come with all sports. And I didn't realize this. They want to sell you the sport
Package.
teams that are in your geographical area. So if you want to buy X number of games, football, let's say, for example, they want to show you here the 49ers playing. Or I don't even know if the Raiders. Are they still in California?
Yep.
Okay.
One
They
more
want to
year.
show you the Raiders or whatever other team is in California, right? But hey, I'm from Chicago, man, and I want to see
The Bears.
the Bears. I was going to say Broncos. Okay. The Bears. I want to see the Bears play. Well, sorry, sir. You're not in that geographical location, so you can pay for the Chicago area too on top of your California one because we don't let you have just one or the other. Or you got it, or you can't watch it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, are you fucking
And I
kidding
know
me?
people who pay whatever it is to see their team play
Wow.
every single game.
The fact that we accepted that kind of crap, that blows me away like we accepted APRs and credit. You know?
Right.
Who the hell talked us into this crap? Like, but that is the
But if
way
that's your,
of
but
it.
if that's your pastime, that's what you're
Jeez,
into.
man.
That's what you
Yeah.
do. That's what you geek out on.
Yeah.
You know, who's to say you're?
I'm not saying
good
anybody's
or bad
wrong for doing it. Yeah, it just blows me away that that's the way it
does blow
works.
me away, and it's extremely expensive. I mean,
Yes.
like and one thing that's kind of crazy with in the sports world, and you brought that up. There's been this thing that's happened recently in the last few years with like Monday Night Football. So Monday Night
That's
Football.
still a thing?
So Monday Night Football has been a tradition as far as like football is concerned for decades.
I thought it was always on Sundays.
Well, they have Sunday as regular, but they have Monday Night Football, which is a one game. It's a prime time
One evening
slot,
game after
evening
work.
game,
Yeah.
and it was a staple in the NFL schedule. And now in the last few years, all of a sudden, cable TV networks like ESPN paid enough to take it from regular network TV, and tons of people just went freaking apeshit because they're like, dude, I got to pay to watch Monday Night Football. I grew up watching Monday Night Football.
See,
Now I got
and
to pay to watch this.
What when in the maybe it was the 90s, 80s? Wasn't all sports just public transmitted television?
Yes. Yeah.
What the hell is this?
There's so much money in it that you got. Well, that was before
thought it was all
ESPN
free.
was even a network.
I think this is almost another show as well. But
Well, of course.
like
All these are.
telephones, they've got us to pay way more for phones now.
Oh, yeah.
Because phones used to be super cheap. You used to have and it was a utility, right?
Yeah, have you
pay
ever
for
tried to turn on a POTS line in your house? I had to research to find out who the service provider was to try and turn on the POTS line in my house. I didn't need it. I was just kind of curious about what it would cost. It took me a while to even find out who would connect it. And then I don't remember what it was, but they wanted something like $70 a month, and that was only for domestic calling. So if you wanted to try and call outside of your prefix, not your area code,
Wow.
your prefix, they wanted to charge you extra, charge even more to get you out of your area code.
And a lot of houses aren't even wired to have it anymore.
So I think by law they still have to build, because my house was built in 20.
This is an emergency situation kind of thing.
I've actually been in a few houses
that don't have them. Really?
Nope.
So my place does, and it was newer. It's only like 15, less than 15, something like that. But yeah, so maybe even newer ones are there not. I don't know. But yeah, to turn it on, forget it. That was like hard, dude, because everybody wants you to go over VoIP over your internet service provider.
So to bring it back to TV is, TV was just something you bought the TV, you plugged it into the wall, and you watched TV.
Yeah.
Now you have to pay for all of the TV.
Well, the thing
you have
is,
to pay for more for some kinds of the TV over other. And sports is another one. It's broken into even smaller little categories.
Well, it becomes because content is so valuable, it's a commodity. So whether your content is Game of Thrones or NFL football or basketball or whatever it is, or sports, movies, whatever it is, now that's a commodity that's a valuable content.
Right.
It wasn't valuable until we watched it, though.
Yeah,
maybe until they sucked us in and got us all hooked on it.
That's exactly right, because
But now
that's
you
what
have
happened with
sports
football,
networks.
right?
You have you have cartoon networks, sport networks. You have cooking networks. You have all these little subcategories of everything. So it's like, well, what are you interested in?
Hey, Cartoon Network is
250
awesome, by the way.
channels, nothing to watch.
Oh man, all you need is Adventure Time on Cartoon Network.
Right, that's all you need, dude.
Just Adventure Time
That's all you need.
and weed.
And weed. Makes TV definitely more interesting.
Have you ever watched Adventure Time on weed? Yes, it's amazing. Okay,
Nice. That's the only way to enjoy television.
some types, absolutely.
Except for porn. I don't know.
Porn
It's kind of hard to watch porn when you're all high.
I lose interest
In porn
honest.
or just...
when I'm high. Watching
Different
porn.
state
Oh,
of
yeah.
mind.
It's a different. Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
true. It's more of a...
Last section I had here is a little bit of psychology. I read a couple of articles. They were in psychologytoday.com, which I know has varied
Is that the degree you get online?
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, it has varied opinions. Whether or not you believe half of it, it doesn't matter. It's just for talking point, man, just for entertainment. But they did say, and they did link to a few of them, though I didn't write them down. So you're more than welcome to go do the research yourself if you like. I did read through a couple of the articles, just gleaned over them real quick that they had linked to, and they were showing some. They were talking about a couple of studies that had been done that linked general unhappiness in life with more TV watching. And okay, you say you're depressed, you're unhappy with life, you sit down and watch the boob tube, and maybe you watch some romantic comedy show or something like that makes you feel for a little while that you're escaping the drudgery or the unhappiness that you're suffering from currently in your life. It sounds like a viable option. Sounds like a good excuse, or sounds like a good way out for a little while, right? That's one of the reasons I love movies, because they're like little escapes. That wasn't the interesting part to me. The interesting part to me that they showed was that they were trying to show, and they say that they proved it. I didn't read far enough into it, but nevertheless, they say that they showed that it doesn't help long term. We keep going back every day because the problem is never fixed. So it extends it to some degree. You may feel a little bit of happiness when you're in the 45 minutes you're watching that particular episode of that show or whatever. But then as soon as it's over, you go right back to your own whatever your problem is.
Well, I think a lot of it too is sort of the same issue that I think people have with social media. They see something that they want, or they fantasize about being somebody else or doing something else, and so maybe while they're watching it, there's this little endorphin kick of like enjoyment, but as soon as it's over and the reality kicks in, then they're just by themselves in their own thoughts, and then they get depressed.
Yeah, if you haven't heard or listened to our social media episode, that we hit on that exact topic, and there was another study. I think if I remember correctly, I had read a whole other study on that I referenced too. But it was just that is like that following people in social media can actually make you feel terrible inside,
because you're judging your existence off of someone else's existence, and just like television, what you're seeing is just the brightest 2 minutes of that 24-hour day of someone's life.
So it isn't real.
So it isn't real.
Yeah, that happiness that looks like it's continuous from what you're watching, or it's not real.
And no matter who the person is or what they're projecting, That's a polished turd that's being flushed down a golden toilet, and so you think it's everything should be a golden toilet, and it's not.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, regarding social media, if I find anybody, if I ever have a friend or somebody who just starts posting nothing but these overly like fake happy thing, like, dude, you're not in Hawaii every fucking day.
Right.
Stop taking the selfies. If you over here with this beautiful person or this way, no, I'll usually unfollow.
Every day isn't with Lil Jon.
Yeah. I will.
Okay.
No, what? No, I will unfollow those people because I'm like, what? And it's no thanks. But that Dave Chappelle skit for Little Joe was that was one of the best, dude. Pardon me, man. Yeah.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Damn, dude. They really did overplay that one too.
Yep.
Did you see he's finally finished his
I
contract with? And I haven't even watched it yet, but that new one was up.
The new one? I saw
the new
it.
stand-up is on
That's
Netflix
good.
now, and so all three of them have been fulfilled. And he got some exorbitant amount of money for those 3 episodes.
I'm sure absurd billions of dollars.
Yeah, millions. But yes, it was crazy. So it pulled him back out of his slump.
Right. Yeah, because he was low on cash.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'll just sell some previously recorded content, then I'll give him one more on top of that, and
Right.
they'll give me like $9 million. It's awesome, man. Like, wow.
So that's the problem with TV. We just haven't figured out a way of scoring the big bucks out of it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
we're not
kidding.
we're not in the
Jesus.
network. We can't do it.
Millions of dollars.
But we started a YouTube channel, and that's the thing that's crazy. Is like
We have one. It's just
that's true.
You talk about a saturated market, man.
Well, I know, but I mean, you think about that. It's content. Again, it goes back to the value of content. So no matter if it's good or bad, it's content. And
That's true.
So just like I remember when the Jackass stuff came out, I was like, "This is stupid. This is horrible."
that
I
had
thought
wow
it was
factor.
terrible.
That had wow factor.
Well, maybe it was
And
a wow
nobody
factor.
had done that before.
That's true too. But I mean, at the same time, it was content that was getting attention. Whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, it didn't matter.
You're right. So the attention is the key there. It doesn't matter what the content
Got
is
viewers.
if you're getting the attention. Now, you take like something like, for example, a podcast. 750,000 active podcasts. I mean, come on.
Jesus.
We're a needle in a haystack, man.
Wow.
And what's worse than that is you can take this into the saturated market comment I made about YouTube. Not only are we one of 750,000, every single day in the hordes, large companies and large production companies and large, very famous people are coming out with their own podcasts. So who the hell has the time to listen to the little guys anymore? I mean, why would you? If you get turned on to podcast, I mean, we've been listening to podcasts for years, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you are a new person, I mean, and think about your aunts or your mothers or your grandfathers or whatever who don't know nothing about podcasts, and you introduce them to them, what do you think they're going to go for in a medium that they aren't familiar with? They don't know anything
Something
about.
that they're familiar
Something
with.
that they're familiar with. And what's that going to be? That's going to be,
Snoop Dogg.
yeah, yes, Grandpa's going to go right for Snoop Dogg.
Hell yeah.
Maybe Norm Abram has a podcast, and
Wow.
Dad is a wood. Yes,
That was
I
a
did
good
that
one.
because I love woodworking.
Holy
Maybe
shit.
Dad's a carpenter or Grandpa's a carpenter. He goes straight to Norm Abrams or
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Right.
Mom loves crafts. She goes straight to Martha Stewart. She doesn't even stop to listen to the small podcast, crafting podcast of a group of 4 girls out in Idaho that makes a badass podcast. And I'm just making this off the top of my head. I don't know of one that makes a badass podcast because they work all the time at it and they produce awesome content. Doesn't matter. 1 out of 750,000, you'll never find them.
But they're not Martha Stewart.
They're not Martha Stewart. They don't have a cool, eye-catchy logo,
Right.
and nobody's Joe Rogan.
That's true.
That's it.
That's it.
God, pathetic. But it goes back to the content thing, and they're just selling content. you know?
Yeah, I mean,
and
they
they're
are,
just
but-
using their name or whatever to promote it. Or
So
whatever.
once they're already famous, once they already
Yeah.
have a famous name, then they
Then you
become,
can make a
the large
podcast.
production companies approach them and tell us, hey, we'll pay you X number of dollars because we know your name alone will snag
Right.
tons of listeners. Then all you got to do is record once a week or twice a week or whatever.
and
We'll-
spend
we'll-
15 minutes of
Yes.
the first half of the
We'll
podcast
take-
talking
yeah.
about all these products.
Yes,
just-
exactly. Yes.
We're just not famous enough.
Not famous enough. That's why I can't. I had to
famous
stop.
at all.
I can't even listen to Joe Rogan anymore.
I never really liked him to begin with.
I mean, I listened to it a little bit because I thought he had interesting guests.
That's
He
what
does get a
everybody's-
good collection of
Yes,
guests.
He gets the most amazing guests because he's the biggest by far.
Absolutely.
He has like
But
surpassed
I can't.
everyone.
I can't handle listening to him talk anymore.
He's so dumb, dude.
And the first like 20 minutes is advertisements.
Yeah, and then what kills me is he gets super. Not that we want to sit here and bash Joe Rogan, but that's not going to help anybody.
I don't dislike the
We could
guy.
do
I think
a
he's
separate
cool.
show
And I
on
think he's
that.
funny, and I like him. But
amazing what he's come up with. But
Yeah.
it just when he brings on some of the smartest people in the world and he asks them some of the simplest, dumbest questions, which I guess maybe his audience wants to hear simple
Absolutely.
questions, but it seems like such a waste of talent that's sitting there. You know,
Right.
I mean, he's a better interviewer than that, and those people are certainly capable of talking about way more in depth and technical stuff. But I mean, that's what's amazing about them. But,
Yeah.
that's
But it's content. Again, it's content.
yeah. And 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 4 times a week content that guy pumps out. It's amazing.
It's
But
a
I guess
cash
if it's your
cow.
full-time job, it's a
Cash cow.
I can't
We need to turn
imagine.
this into a cash cow, people. Come on, help us out. We'll share the wealth.
That's it.
Share the wealth. Every $1 million we make, we'll give you 0.1
That's right.
111%
Yes,
of it.
yes. Head
Every,
over to-
you, the one that's listening right now, that
Yes.
person, you're going to get it.
That's it. Head over to Patreon. You can
Right.
you too can donate now.
We've got stickers.
We'll send you stickers.
And empty beer cans.
All right. Well, so if you're not staring at the TV, hopefully you're listening to a podcast.
Right.
As long as you're consuming, right? That's what they want from us.
It's all about the content.
That's it. Well, hopefully you guys found that entertaining as you consumed it, and hopefully you'll consume again next time. Thanks for listening. Show notes and other info can be found at our website, greatdistraction.com. The Great Distraction is listed in iTunes, and we greatly appreciate it when our listeners take the time to look us up and leave us a 5-star rating and review. That helps our show grow and motivates us to continue producing content. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so using the email address, greatdistractionpodcast@gmail.com, or via our website. We're always interested in hearing any thoughts, comments, or questions from our listeners. Keeping up on the latest from us can be done in several different ways. You can add us to your favorite RSS feed tracker. The link is available on our website or in iTunes. Or you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Great Distraction, one word, no space. As always, thank you for listening, and thank you for all the support.